Hello students, as we are doing the explanation, as I am giving you the explanation of this chapter Chief Seattle's speech, I am going to explain the following paragraphs in my video. Now, in the following paragraphs, Chief Seattle is stating that there was a time not very long ago that Red Indians were many in numbers. They were like wind ruffled sea covering its shell paved floor. Now, what is meant by that? It means that the wave caressed by gentle wind over the seabed. Now, the seabed is covered with shells. This conveys that the richness, the vast stretch of land, wind ruffled means numerous. There were numerous Native Americans once upon a time. There was a glorious time and once for the Native Americans, but the time has passed away. They had the grandeur and magnificence, but that was past again. That was the history. But now it is a mournful memory. It is a mournful memory means something they brood upon. They feel that this is just the past. The glorious past, the history says, is no longer evident today, is no longer relevant today. So, the past is past. Something we can just remember, we can just look back upon with a heavy heart, because the situation is no longer the same. So, he was feeling sad about it, but yet he is saying that I will not talk, I will not be sad about it. Actually, why this situation has happened, for that he is saying that the blame should not be given entirely to the white settlers or the pale-face brothers. Now, whom he is addressing as pale-face brothers? The white settlers. Now, he is not holding these white settlers as solely responsible for their untimely decay. Why? That is also he is saying. He is saying that this is because we are also somewhat to blame. It is not only that the white Americans are responsible for their miserable conditions, that's why the Red Indians also, his findings, are responsible to some extent for their untimely decay, for the decay of their glorious past, or for the change of this grandeur, for the change of the magnificent history, to bring upon the change of the magnificent history. Now, Chief Seattle is saying that the youth among the Native Americans, they are very revengeful. They are acting at the spur of the moment, and they are painting their faces black. That shows that they are disfiguring their faces with black paint when they stop realizing that who they really are. Now, students, painting the black face means, I will tell you what it is exactly. Like, you may be very sensitive and kind-hearted person in life, in real life, but the moment you are putting on the war paint, that is the black paint, that is painting your face black, it denotes that the hearts are turning black, full of anger, revenge, and that is why the young Native Americans are becoming cruel and relentless and a violent warrior, and this is how what happens actually is that the young Native Americans are becoming incapable of goodness, thinking of kindness or being kind to others. Now, the old men, old women at the house, they are unable to restrain them. They become so violent the moment they paint their faces black. They were unable to control them, and this is how what is happening, they are delving into warfares and losing their lives. Then he also adds that once the white settlers began to take over the land and Native Americans and push them towards the west, then the Native Americans began reacting in this manner. So, that is what he is trying to mean. He also says that the hostility between the Native Americans and the white settlers should never return, He is expecting that this hostility between the white settlers and the young Native Americans, or rather we can say the Native Americans, is not to be means we can hope or he can hope that it should never return. So, Chief Seattle says that the enmity should never return between them. If the Native Americans engage in hostility, then what will happen? The white settlers, with the white settlers, then they are the ones who would be the losers, and they would have nothing to gain even at the cost of their own lives. So, who is going to suffer when they will lose their lives? The old men, old women who depend upon them, who would never want their men to give up their lives. So, this is not been understood by the young Native Americans. They act at the spur of the moment and are painting their faces black, delving into warfares and losing lives. Right, students. Now, the following paragraphs, in the following paragraphs, Chief Seattle says that the Native Americans believed that England was ruled by a man and not a woman, and hence he referred to King George Washington as the president, and he is telling, Chief Seattle is telling that a message has come from the president, and that if they accept the sovereignty of the white settlers, what will happen? The white settlers will build a strong wall between the Chief Seattle's tribe and defend them from the attack of their enemies. Now, the enemies, he is saying that they are living far to the northward, and who are these enemy tribes? The Haidas and the Tsimshians. So, once this people, once the Squamish tribe, the people of the Squamish tribe comes under the protection of the white settlers, then the enemies won't frighten them. In reality, George Washington will be the father figure and they his children. So, that is what is been said by Chief Seattle. Now, Chief Seattle expresses doubt also that whether he is saying that your God is different from our God, simply because your God loves you and hates us, that is, hates my people. So, you are prospering and growing in number because your God is guiding you and protecting you, but our God has abandoned us. Even our God, the Great Spirit, has left us. So, now we are rendered powerless. We are not having proper guidance. We are not guided by our God. So, our people are ebbing away as a rapid receding tide that will never return. So, he is thinking that that is why, as the God has abandoned them, they are ebbing away as rapid receding tide that will never return. Means they are losing in numbers, they are being rendered powerless and decreasing in numbers, and they are just resembling as a rapidly receding tide that we find in the seashore or in the river bank. And he is also saying that this tide is never going to return to the seashore. So, now he is saying that our condition at present is like orphans. We cannot look up to any God who could guide us and protect us. That is why he expresses his doubt that because of these reasons, how can we be brothers? How can the Red Indians and the white settlers be brothers? So, he has expressed his doubt regarding that.